When a job gets kicked off, I check the proposal drawings to make sure they are up to standard. So the reason this process is necessary is many times the proposals have been drawn months ago, and our standards have evolved since then, and we want to make sure we're not carrying over any old designs or old things that may have been improved on since then. So this is the basic checklist of what I go through and check each proposal drawing for per standard. So the very first thing I do is I check if we have a current standard detail for that condition, and then I just check it, drop it in at CAD and check to make sure that the logic is the same, all the notes are the same, dimension points the same, anything else is there the way according to the current standard detail. If by chance there is a detail drawn for a new job that we don't have in the library, then that gives me a little trigger that makes me wonder why is it not in our library, and then I review that with the standards team and try to get it into the library if it is a standard condition that we can make. These are just some basic gotchas that have gotten us in the past, as well as just from maintaining our library, things that have been marked up in the past and that we want to avoid in the future, or standards that have been updated recently, and I just keep track of them here so that I can remember what they were. So these are just in general things that I look for, and making sure all the annotations, like I said, and part numbers and logic are all the same and match our current standards. And since I am the librarian of our library, a lot of these things just kind of jump out at me since I am heavily involved in making these updates, and so I'm more aware to look for them and these new drawings as they come through. So then I go through my little checklist on the CAD files, and then I go through the profiles and I clean them up. So this is just some examples of the type of comments that I see recently on projects, and the things that I'm looking for. So there's just a few maybe dimensional things maybe off, a few notes missing, just kind of in general things that were just kind of maybe copied from another detail and missed, or we just recently changed in our library. So these are the things I go through when I go through a profile review and make sure our current standards are being followed. Once I go through the set in PDF form and I review with the PM, then I go into CAD and I make the updates. So another reason for the updates, this is just an example of what I get from the Jumpstart team of how the proposal drawings are stored in CAD. All the details are in one file, and so they're all here like this, which makes it very hard for me when I'm working on it, as well as Gabriel and I both when we're making Revit families to work on it this way. So part of my revision process is to get them out of this one file, and then I separate them into individual sheets per our drafting standards, and I just create individual files for each detail in the drafting drawings folder for that job. So in the drafting drawings folder per project, these are the latest files, and I call them the shop drawing details because these are the files that I am referring Adventure to use to make their annotations to match. So here's an example of what that package looks like after I've cleaned it up. So I simplify the details as much as possible just for truly showing the true different family conditions or combinations of parts, and then any different jams or perimeter conditions. As you can see, I just make the little 1As or 2As so that we don't have duplicate details and more errors for Adventure possibly or myself to refer to the wrong parts. So I clean these up and simplify the details and make sure all the standards are updated, and these are the latest and greatest details, and these are the details that I reference Adventure to when they're annotating for the shop drawings.